All right, so this is going to be day 39 of our little series here. Today I was drawing Alistair from Hazbit Hotel. It's a really good thing that like YouTube, like how Instagram will do the thing where it's like, would you like to share this account with your friends? Do you want people in real life to know what you're looking at on the internet? Fuck that shit. Never, never, not once. Um, because when I tell you this guiltiest of guilty pleasure shows, I mean that sincerely. I really wish I could like this more. I really wish I could. Fuck if it's not weird, man. It's a weird show, and I like it, but I just like, it's one of those things where it's like I can't really justify, you know, publicly outing myself. But yeah, no. So today, the anatomy was a lot. I think I stayed on model pretty well. I think more generally, I like to be a little more stylized with my art. I like to be I like to make it feel like he is a little more I don't know, I guess just a little different than what he's looking like in the show, because in the show, like, obviously it's very cartoony, and so he is, you know, he doesn't look the way that I would personally draw him, because I like to draw big strong dudes. And unfortunately Alistair is not that. So I just tried to kind of graph those aspects onto him the best I could. It does really. I unfortunately I didn't fit this into the page very well. I kind of forgot how much hair, because I really wanted to draw the antlers, but I couldn't. Because you'll see, like, throughout this entire thing, I tried so hard to make it work, and it just did not. If I'm being 100% honest, I couldn't get it to work, and that really sucks because it's a really cool aspect of his character. If I'm being 100% like, what really sucks is I had to change the anatomy, and I really like how I drew that hand. So, sucks, but whatever. But yeah, no. So I don't know if I'm being 100% honest. Um, he is probably one of the only reasons I really like enjoyed the show. Just the general intrigue and the mystery. I wanted to have him sitting next to a speaker just because I thought the pose would be a little more dynamic, but I ended up just kind of drawing a speak. It just doesn't really fit with his aesthetic because he doesn't have one with his normal get up. So I probably could have made his arms a little skinnier, in all honesty, if I wanted to stay with the more cartoonish aspects of his character. But you know, I was also bouncing back and forth on how to draw the staff here, because it's a very odd problem of, like, I when I'm doing the sketching part, I'll draw a line and I'll draw like kind of a circle on it, and I'll forget that that circle actually has to be like a hand that would make sense anatomically. So that's a big problem. And here you can see I flipped his hand around um one too many times, so it's a fun problem. I'm not 100% sure if the hand looks right still. I mean, it's a very I feel like it's correct, or is it as correct as I could have had it. Um, I don't know. His hands do just feel a little small. I do think I make them bigger, but I don't know. They just kind of feel small. But again, I wanted to challenge myself at least a little bit, because outside of more general like coloring, because that's what most of these past few days have been. Like, I don't know, probably like past week of the videos. Um, it's been a whole lot of like working on, color and those kind of things, right? Just because I think it's important, right? However, it is just one of those things where I, it sometimes leads to me disregarding things like framing and posing and all those and anatomy, like all those kind of more secondary things. And so I do want to just, continue to like try to challenge myself. I do kind of wish Alistair's design was a little more, I guess, like, had a little more oomph to it. Just I wish there was a little more something to it. But what are you gonna do about it, right? Um, Again, generally, I think the more cartoony aspect of his character made it very different from my art style, especially the skinny characters in general. I just have a much harder time drawing, because again, I the reason why I started drawing was because I like the big strong characters in shows, and so having to switch it to this much more skinny, much more like I guess like slimy kind of character is I don't know, it feels almost a little off-putting. Again, I'm not super satisfied with that hand on the other side, but whatever. I do think I think I was pretty good with at least with how much red is in this picture. I think I did a good job at differentiating the reds from each other in a pretty decent way. So that was a concern that I had going in. I mean, if you'll notice a pattern with with all the things I draw, a lot of the characters I like wear a lot of red. Um, I don't know, probably not tomorrow, but probably Sunday. I'll probably do to finish off the series because that'll mark 30 days like on the dot. I will try and I don't know, I might try to go for one of my more favorited characters, probably like a Spider-Man or like a Gojo or like a just one of those characters where I'm really really a fan of them because it's not like I don't like the characters that I choose, but it's just one of those things where it's like I don't like there's I don't love this like I don't I'm not giddy with excitement every time I see a new thing about these kind of shows. So regardless, again, you can see that I did end up because I ended up re-looking at the design and turns out he doesn't have um he doesn't actually have stripes on that part of his thing. And even though I guess technically it'd be accurate to do it there, in addition, his skin has a really weird color. Like I was looking around, I was trying to look for it for like a decent amount of time, like 5 10 minutes, just trying to get that color because it's a very odd color, which works really well because I think it is a shade of green, and I think because fun color theory, um, because it's green, it's or at least its hint is it has the hue of green in it. It creates good contrast with the rest of the image. And you'll notice that the background of the image is green to make him pop more. Oh, what crazy! It's like it's like I think of these things. Tell you what. Um, but yeah, no. So now we're into the more general shading phase. I do think this first round of shading was a lot lighter. Um, so that's just kind of. Eh. I think I do need to have a little more like close-ups. I think I end up having this very similar, like widened out look to a lot of the characters I draw. I also do kind of wish I had made his like shoulder pads, I guess, like a little larger. I think that would have helped because in the show they are very puffy. So I do kind of wish I enunciated them a little bit better. But yeah, no. Again, I don't know, I'll try to probably have more of a close-up drawing to on Sunday because I'll have a full day to draw. I'll be able to really get into the bits and bobs and bits and pieces. I do think the hair is generally pretty well colored here as well. I think that was pretty good. And so yeah, I wanted to like get the tendrils that he has. Like I wanted to do like a fun background, but I don't know. It was just very difficult because again, I love the antlers. I love like when he gets all mad. Like I like that aesthetic, but it's just so hard to make it work. Because even like again, I could draw the actual tendrils fairly well. It's something about the framing of the picture where I guess it feels too like it feels like too much, you know. So again, I did kind of go back and forth on whether I should keep the antlers or let them go or how exactly to do it. But generally, again, I do like how I drew them. I think it's fun and interesting. It's just very hard to like follow through on it while still feeling like the image feels complete, you know. So yeah, I ended up trying to make the image feel a lot darker than it once was. Like originally, because you can see that he pops out a lot in this, and I wanted it to feel a lot more like it was alluring to his face because I feel like that's much more his shtick. I think he's a lot darker as a character, and so I think it makes sense to make the picture a lot darker to reflect that. Um, Again, I do like the little bits of white that I added as like highlights. I think that's very nice, and little black bits around that I think helps cement it a little bit better as like background. You know, though I do wish I'd added a little bit more cross hatching on some parts of it. So I think that would have that could have been a good change. Yeah. Again, I do think I'd go and change. Yeah, I did end up making it a little bit lighter, just because the amount of black that was in the picture was. I mean, even for one of mine, it was a little dark. So, you know, it did end up changing that by the end. Regardless, again, this was a lot less me just talking about the show, like the rest of them. But this there was a lot to talk about in terms of like color and ideas and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, again, this was super fun to draw. He has a fun design. It was fun to have lot more of a cartoony look to the face. That was fun. And yeah, so probably on Sunday I'll have probably an into the series mapped out, unless one of these pops off, or unless later down the line I feel like I need to come back and try to learn more. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Um, I will see y'all in that video. Goodbye.